Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. You're reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Glory to you, Lord. John said to Jesus, "Teacher, we saw someone driving out demons in your name, and we tried to prevent him because he does not follow us." Jesus replied, "Do not prevent him. There is no one who performs a mighty deed in my name who can at the same time speak ill of me. For whoever is not against us is for us." The Gospel of the Lord. James continues his advice for us Christians. He gave us wonderful advice today. He said that our tomorrows are not guaranteed. That's very important for us to know, so that we take charge of the moment and be very conscious of ourselves. We could make plans here for sure, but let it be according to God's will. Remember the prayer of our Father. So James gave us a very timely advice and instruction to put into our way of life. Always remember God in whatever you are doing. That's what he says. Because only God has control of tomorrow. We do not. We may plan for 10 years, 20 years. That's not bad. But he says, always put God in the plan. You could do that by saying, "Please God, if it's God's will, by God's grace," we say that. But sometimes it's just like we mouth it out. It doesn't go down. Sometimes tell people, "Oh, by the grace of God, I will do this. If it pleases God, this will happen." St. James tells us today, let it be deep down, part of our life. So when we say it, we mean it. And we live it out, because our tomorrows are not guaranteed. And every plan of us that must come to fruition must be approved by God. That's St. James. Then Jesus Christ in the gospel reminded us of something again, that goodness, good works, good behaviors, everything good has no territorial or even religious boundary. Yeah, think about that. Goodness, being good to people, has no territorial or even racial, even ethnic boundary at all. Goodness could come from anywhere. And wherever goodness comes from, it needs to be acknowledged and appreciated. That's Jesus talking to us. So let us also be in that same way. Let our goodness not be territorially bounded or racially bounded, even ethnic, even family-wise. Let our goodness flow out. Remember Matthew chapter 5, that God allows his goodness for everyone. So if goodness could come from anywhere to us, because we could benefit from anyone's goodness, we will also let our goodness shine out. If whoever is not against us is for us. That's Jesus Christ saying that. And I would like to say a little about the life of the wonderful woman we celebrate today. Maybe she sums up this in her own life, so that you see how this could also apply to your life. The saint of today, Saint Rita of Cassia, was a wife, mother, widow, religious. Imagine that. After being married with children, you see, that's God being in charge of one's life. She came back to become a religious, a nun. And she was a stigmatist in the last years of her life. How did this happen? When she was young, at a very tender age, she wanted to become a nun. But his family, his parents refused. They've already arranged for her marriage to a man. So at the age of, as a very teenager, 14, I think 12, she was given out in marriage to a man who unfortunately became very abusive, very brutal, very violent. In their married life, it was all bad for her. Well, she endured the marriage for 18 good years. She was praying for all these things. And then she had two sons. And in the process, her husband was brutally murdered. And later on, her two sons died. You know, it was very, very impossible at that time for her to be accepted into the religious life, but she persisted and prayed for it. She was given one assignment to go and reconcile their family feudal problems, and she went and did that. She was accepted. She was nicknamed the Saint for Impossible Cases. Very important. Because her life was almost like impossible. And everything that happened in her life was by God's grace. That's why I say this prayer could work for you. Whatever pleases God should be good for us. So this saint lived according to God's own timetable, not hers. Remember, she wanted to become a nun, but the parents refused. She ended up becoming that nun at the age of about 30-something or 40, you know. So the hand of God is always at work in those who love him. She has continued to intercede for people with problems in their marriage. So you could run to her if you have a very problematic marriage. Parents, you could go to her for prayers and assistance on how to handle your family. Even the men, with the guys, we could go to her so as to learn how to relate with our family members, our wife, our kids, and people around us. May we continue to enjoy the favor of God as we enjoy the intercession of this wonderful saint of God, Saint Rita. I never came to, know much about her, but in the recent years, I've really followed up her life, and I've really recommended her to some people whom her intercession has helped a lot. May we continue to live in the grace of God, in the strength and the power of God, who is in charge of our tomorrow and of our life. God bless you all.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui